we want to divide 8m cubed minus 14m squared plus 1 by 4m plus 1. Okay, so we want to divide that right there. Oh, yeah. Put it in the pencil box. You don't need a ruler? All right. Say we want to divide this. So long division, we set it up just like we did back in elementary school with the little doghouse and all that good stuff. But our dividend, what is being divided, is missing a term. It doesn't have the linear m term. So we need to put a placeholder. Okay, we need to put a 0m in there to hold the place so that things don't get misaligned. Okay, so if it's missing anything, you got to put a placeholder in there. The same thing goes for the divisor. Okay, 4m plus 1, it's not missing anything, but say that was 4m squared plus 1, you would need to put a 0m in there as well. Okay, so if anything's missing from the highest exponent that it has to the lowest, you got to put a placeholder there, okay? All right, so what do we do first? Anybody remember? This is a good sign. All right, we start. I'm going to do it over here. Well, let me see here. Let me move my notes. Good. 8m cubed divided by 4m. 8 divided by 4 is 2. M cubed divided by m is m squared. So line it up, please. Please put it over the m squared term. It's going to make your life easier if you line it up. Excuse me. All right. So now we multiply by the 4m plus 1. So 2m squared times 4m is 8m cubed. That is supposed to happen. That's supposed to be exactly the same. 2m squared times positive 1 is positive 2m squared. That most of the time is going to be different. Now, I prefer to look at it this way. I change the signs and I add. Okay? I only change the signs of what I just wrote under there. Okay? I don't change all of the signs, but I change the signs of what I just wrote. So I've got that in red. It was positive 8m cubed and positive 2m squared. So I changed those to negatives. And I'm going to add. So the first term should always cancel. If you did your division and multiplication right, the first term should always cancel. So then negative 14 plus negative 2 is negative 16m squared. Guys, I cannot emphasize how important it is. You cannot rush through these. You cannot mess up your signs, because if you mess up one sign, it's going to ruin the whole problem. All right, just being honest. You have to be careful with positives and negatives. So careful. All right, next. We take the first term of what's left, so negative 16m squared, and we divide that by 4m. Okay, this is just like regular long division. As you're going through a regular long division problem, you don't use the original problem anymore. You use what you've got left down at the bottom. So negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. M squared divided by m is m. So that goes next up here. We multiply again. Negative 4m times positive 4m is negative 16m squared. It should be exactly the same. Negative 4m times positive 1, negative 4m. Change the signs and add. So this time they both become positive. The first term cancels. 0 plus 4 is 4. Okay. Last step. We're left with 4m. We divide that by 4m. We get 1. We've got plus 1 here on the end. 1 times 4m is 4m. 1 times 1 is 1. Change the signs and add. So on this one, it divided evenly. We got a remainder of 0. Now, the good news is, for our purposes, this is going to help us find slant asymptotes. For our purposes, you never have to worry about the remainder. Okay? It is still technically part of the division, but it has no impact on the slant asymptote. You're only concerned about the quotient. You're concerned about the final answer right here with the slant asymptotes. Okay? But, I mean, technically this is part of the division, but you don't have to worry about it with what we're doing with it. Okay? All right, let's do another example, just to make sure, another two, just to make sure that we are on the same page, on the right track. Okay, x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x divided by negative 4x squared plus 16. Okay, x cubed minus 3x squared plus 2x divided by negative 4x squared plus 16. Okay, so our divisor started with x squared, but it doesn't have an x. So I've got to put 0x there to hold the place. Okay, here's another part of the problem that you can't rush through. You've got to pay attention to these details. So the dividend starts with x cubed. We've got x squared. We've got x. We don't have a constant, so we need a plus 0 on the end. All right. So x cubed divided by negative 4x squared. We're used to this always working out to be a whole number, but there's nothing that says this has to be a whole number. So this is just negative 1/4 x. Okay, 1 divided by negative 4 is just negative 1/4. Leave it as a fraction. X cubed divided by x squared is x. So that's going to go right here. It's going to line up over the x term. We're not going to have a ton of work to do on this problem because I've only got one more space after this left. All right, let's multiply. Negative 1/4 x times negative 4x squared. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is 1. X times x squared is x cubed. Negative 1/4 x times 0x. I know that it's 0, but I'm just going to put it there to keep everything in line. That's 0x squared. Bless you. Negative 1/4 x times 16 is negative 4x. Change all these signs and add. So the x cubes cancel. Negative 3x squared plus 0 doesn't have a negative. So negative 3x squared plus 0 is negative 3x squared. 2 plus 4 is 6x. And we technically don't need it, but I'm going to bring down the 0 for effect. Okay. So now we divide negative 3x squared by negative 4x squared. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that's positive 3/4 x squared over x squared cancels. So we've got plus 3/4. So now we multiply. 3/4 times negative 4 is negative 3. X squared times 0 is 0x. 3/4 times 16. 16 over 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Whoops. Change all my signs and add. That cancels. 6x minus 12. That's our remainder. Okay, we really don't care about that part when we're talking about slant asymptotes here in a little while, but that is our remainder here. This, the quotient, is what we're really concerned about. Okay, the quotient is the answer. That's what we're really concerned about. Okay, and you know you're finished because even though our remainder is not just a constant, 6x divided by negative 4x squared, we don't divide it when this gets bigger, okay? So we don't do x over x squared. I know we can, but when what you're dividing by has a bigger exponent than what is on top, you stop, okay? You also know you're done because we're out of room up here, okay, if you lined everything up right. Okay? All right, let's do one more, just to make sure. Sometimes they're not going to be in standard form, okay? You've seen that on a few of these problems. They don't have them in standard form, so we have to put it in standard form when we plug it into the problem. So our divisor is fine. 6k plus 6, no problem right there. Our dividend, however, we need to reorder. 24k squared plus 18k minus 4. So is it okay if I don't do the work over to the side this time and then just do the problem? We're okay with that. 24k squared divided by 6k. If you want to write it on the side, go for it. Okay. Gives us 4k. So when we multiply, we get 24k squared. 4k times 6 is 24k. Change the signs and add. First term cancels. 18 plus negative 24 is negative 6. Okay. Bring down the negative 4. Negative 6k divided by 6k is negative 1. So we get negative 6k minus 6. Change the signs and add. First term cancels. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2. The remainder is 2. Now, just as a side note, let me review this part too. In Math 3, when we had a remainder, remember we put it over the divisor. We add it to the end of our quotient and we put it over the divisor. Can I simplify that ratio right there? 2 over 6k plus 6? We can, because all the terms are divisible by 2. So on an answer key, if we were just doing division here, what am I doing? Divisible by 2, not 3. It would help if I was not trying to talk and write at the same time. On an answer key, they would simplify that. If we were just doing straight up division, you would simplify the 2 over 6k plus 6 to 1 over 3k plus 3. But remember, all 3 of these numbers right here have to be divisible by 2. If that was just 2 over k plus 6, you'd have to stop. Okay, 2 over k plus 6, you'd have to stop. But 2 over 6k plus 6, you can reduce. All right, so here